look, without further ado, I want to welcome to our platform the great Miss Sybil. Thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure, Ty. That was sweet. I started having pictures in my mind.
It, it was a good time, wasn't it?
It was a great time. And it's funny when you become part of the good times for, it's really interesting that narrative and what it looks like, because I remember being a 5-year-old listening to other music, running in and being shushed away. And then suddenly I'm that voice that my nieces and my nephews are we're kicking them, shooing them out because it's grown folks party. And
It's
so it's
grown
really
folks.
kind of a cool thing. That was a wonderful setup.
Listen, I love it. What we do over here on Cards Face Up podcast is basically try to build those moments with this I Declare War segment. Is we want to build it, like you said, those moments that you're now a part of. Sybil plays a moment. I call it like the movie, and they say you're living rent free in my brain. Like you live rent free in my mind. And it's a wonderful feeling. It's like that
Yeah.
smell of that food that your mama used to cook, and it makes
Yes.
you come back. When I hear music,
Mhm.
certain people,
Yeah.
oh, I got to get them on the show, and I got to reach out to them and say, Miss Sybil, I need you here, and you
Oh,
come.
and
So I thank you.
I'm glad
I
that you
thank
did extend the invitation. It's funny when my manager had said we got it situated, we got it worked out, and I was like, okay, cool, because I have a lot of really good memories, wonderful memories of Baltimore and that area. Lots of
you.
wonderful memories.
We gonna definitely get into it, but we got to give you your decorations and let them know, just in case they think Miss Sybil just did "Don't Make Me Over." We got
No,
to give it to you. We talking 2-time Billboard pop singles. We talking 2 Billboard top 10 singles, 5 Billboard top 20 singles. We're talking 3 Billboard top 10 dance singles, 6 full-length albums, people. And let's think, this is the 80s. We talking 4 decades of this soulful voice right here, this beautiful voice, and still is active. She's still out here making moves, y'all. It's 4 decades. That's 40 piece. For those that play football, watch basketball and stuff, she's giving us a 40 piece right here. That's longer than most of our lives. So salute, Queen. Salute
thank
for
you,
being you. I
thank
want to
you.
get right into it. Don't Make Me Over. It was originally performed and recorded by the great voice Dionne Warwick
Yes,
in
yes.
1960.
1960.
Woo! 1960, Dionne Warwick sung this song, and it was an automatic classic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What made a young Sybil come into the game touch something that is already a classic?
Wow. The funny thing is that prior to Don't Make Me Over, I'm from the house scene. I mean, I go back to Falling in Love, Let Yourself Go, My Love is Guaranteed. I come
Mm-hmm.
from that's my background. And so they wanted to do a full length album, but however, they knew that they needed to have a record. I think that was probably more R&B geared, but
Mm-hmm.
soulful, very soulful leanings. I got a little bit nervous because I, being a house, and when you deviate too far from DJs and what they're playing, they're like, wait a minute, hold up. But
Uh-huh.
the idea of doing a Dionne Warwick song was originally Walk On By was supposed to be, I thought Walk On By first, but they brought me Don't Make Me Over, which I wasn't as familiar with. Just wasn't. I hadn't heard it as much as Walk On By. So the label said, we just think that this is ideal for your voice. And we think that if you do it now, it would be a, a new and fresh, version of a song that was a hit for her. And she was from Jersey. I grew up knowing who Dionne Warwick was. I mean, everyone in New Jersey knew, Dionne Warwick. I
Right.
remember my mom talking about them singing with the New Jersey Youth Choir, and that everyone knew that she was special then. And they remember when she got her deal. And so I thought that it was like, okay, I'll try, I'll make an attempt. I didn't initially like the song. For me, I just thought, but then it got a facelift from some soul guys out of the UK who were very much into the soul to soul, jazzy, jazzy with soul to soul,
Mm-hmm.
that vibe. And when they gave it that facelift, I thought, wow, I really think this has some life. And it really did end up being more than I had ever anticipated, because I traveled the world on doing underground house records and being in clubs all over the globe. But it was not until Don't Make Me Over that the trajectory of my life changed. It was like I was in places that I had never been before, and was invited to places and spaces that wanted to hear this, me do this R&B, song. And so that was really kind of an interesting time for me, really interesting time because it was new. I'd been performing, but that song was just different. It was radio all over the place, DJs all over the place. And so I'm very thankful for that record. So I was challenged to do a record by someone who I admired and respected, and I rose to the occasion.
Listen, that is so dope. It grew feet. Did you and Dion, being from the same hometown, did y'all ever get to perform together or talk about it? Like,
no, it's funny. No, but she did send when the single went gold. Okay, when it went gold, its first iteration of itself, I got a letter of congratulations, and I was just really, really in awe because we had done a presentation. So the record company had read a letter that she had sent, and so I was really appreciative of that. So we never got a chance, and then I think that your life happens and things take on a life of their own, and so I ended up just not really being able to connect. And so I'm hoping at some point in this life that I'd be able to pay, homage to her for allowing me and giving me the breath, the breaths that were needed to do a song that she did differently, but give it life and have it be as successful as it was for her. That was her first hit record. So
yeah.
When you think about it, it kind of was my first mainstream hit record, so there are so many parallels. Yeah.
I watched, first of all, shout out Dionne Warwick for being such a legend and singing that song so beautifully.
Yeah.
If that's even a word. Singing that the way that you did, I'm going to be honest. Shout out to you for taking the chance on, because if I heard what Dion did to that song, it's no way I would have touched that song.
Those were my reservations, Ty. Those were my reservations. I was like, are you serious? You want me to do this record? That was my thing, because I had such a great deal of respect and love for her. And not just that song, but I'm talking about a series of songs that she had done with Burt Bacharach and Hal David. Just her early stuff was phenomenal to me.
Yeah, that voice was serious. So for you to come on there and dominate, and again, you created a new song with the exact same lyrics. Kudos to you. That's why we got you here today, because you actually did it. I wouldn't have touched it. You did it. You succeeded. Listen, this is a keynote right here. This is a lesson right here. Take those risks. Take those chances. Yeah. You can do some great things, because most people wouldn't have touched that. And look what it did. It grew feet. It did its thing. So you released that song first in New Zealand, right?
It actually overseas. The funny thing is that it was released and did well in England and New Zealand and Australia and territories outside of the United States, because it was remixed. Because it's originally when it was released, they thought, okay, it might work. It kind of backdoored into the U.S., which was really strange. So New Zealand took it on. They just loved it, and subsequently, even the songs after that, they've always really been very welcoming and just love soul. They love soul music, but they love soul music with a little bit of that kind of Afrobeat kind of vibe. That's kind of been their thing. And so I backdoored. I always say, it's funny, I'm an American who backdoored into her own homeland.
And I was wondering, so is this during the time when they used to break artists overseas first? Is that how you ended up overseas? How did you end up? Because you have projects that you only released overseas.
Yes, absolutely. And I really don't think that was not intentional. The thing is that, like I said, early on, I had done the house records. I had done underground house records. And that's what, in 1987 is when I started traveling to England specifically. And then inevitably ended up going to, Scotland and to Wales, and then, to other parts of the globe, of other parts of Europe, Germany, and just different countries that liked house music and liked what I was doing at that time. When I did Don't Make Me Over, I had already had some monikers of success. And so it just, I think that it not necessarily took off there so much as the people who remixed it were from there. So they shared it with their friends, so you know how that goes. It's like, if your buddies and friends, you're going to make sure they get a record that they think is hot. So that's really kind of what happened. And so we ended up backing into the US, and the rest is history. 1990, 89, 90, it just was, that year was crazy for me. Crazy, because then I followed it with with Walk On By, which was
Mm-hmm.
another, Dionne Warwick song, which honestly, I thought we were going to release that one first, but things happen in the order that they're supposed to happen. And so and so that catapulted me even further because people, Walk On By was a more familiar song. Other people had done it. But yet it followed kind of the track of Don't Make Me Over. And so it worked. It worked for me. It worked for the label.
Got you, got you. I was wondering what the whole connection of overseas was because it's a lot of overseas stuff.
Yes.
You being from Patterson, New Jersey,
Yes.
so you like you said, things happen when they're supposed to. This wasn't your first song, Don't Make Me Over wasn't the first song, but your style from Don't Make Me Over remix versus your first song is still very similar. It's still you. It's up tempo. It's the party. And then you came in. I just now had my sis, shout out Jackie McGee on here. We just had
Jackie,
her on.
oh, I love
I
Jackie.
love Jackie. Yeah. So I just had her on here and we talked about being the first lady of New Jack Swing and things of sort. But you're right there also. It's so many pioneers of that era, but you come from Jersey. So coming from Jersey, and if anybody knows Jersey, I'm Baltimore all day.
Yeah.
It's so connected. Literally, when you get in Jersey, it looks like Baltimore.
Yeah.
And our club scenes are the club music is that house music. It's that and you brought that to the industry.
Yeah.
Back in '86.
Yes.
Before Don't Make Me Over, you already was bringing that. So when we heard Don't Make Me Over, even though it was new to us and we didn't know who you were, when you mirror back, you hear this was you already.
Yeah.
How impactful, how much of a part did New Jersey play in the music that you created?
I will say this. I used to spend many, 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 many nights and many at Zanzibar. I loved Zanzibar. I mean, Tony Humphrey spinning, and I mean some of the greats that Larry Patterson, just a lot of really awesome DJs that I got to be kind of involved with. And so the Jersey sound was very, very interesting because a lot of my friends were doing it. My homegirl's a diva. Pat, did Respect, and then you had Riff. You've got different variations of musical styles that came out of New Jersey, and of course the house music. I mean, you had Blaze, and you have just so many people, and we were so close in proximity to New York, and the clubs there, the Bentleys, the Silver Shadows, the Paradise Garage. So for me, being a Jersey girl with house leanings, let me tell you what I've always admired. I remember hearing Gwen Guthrie sing, and Gwen Guthrie had a knack for being able to have this really beautiful voice over these driven grooves. And then I would hear Jocelyn Brown with this big voice, same thing, lyrical song, but it was a groove. And that to me made me feel good. I loved rhythmic and lyrical songs, but I loved that bass, that bottom to the floor. I loved that, that just did it for me. And so
that juke bar.
Yeah, and so it just made it really kind of cool to come out from under just being a club kid, and doing house records to actually providing having a platform where my songs were heard more, I guess, more mainstream. Because the thing is, a lot of us were underground, like those were underground records, and who that were embraced by DJs and the record pools and all of that were instrumental and very much a part of how and why my music was heard. And so the late night, the mix shows at night, in New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, those shows were DJs who were playing in these clubs. And so they played on radio because it worked in the clubs. And vice versa. So it really kind of allowed us. So that's my love for DJs and remixers and producers who understand that background, that kind of way of doing things means a lot to me, because I know that a lot of us need to, just say thank you, because for the most part, we wouldn't have been mainstream if it were not for DJs and program directors at these stations who said, I hear this on the weekend when I'm out, and this needs to be heard. And so that's how a lot of us made our foray into being radio friendly artists. That what, we didn't know that we weren't at first. We just weren't being played as regularly, but it was because of the support of people who would dance to us and rock with us and then request us. To be honest with you, radio formats oftentimes were dictated by who was calling in and asking for you.
Yeah. Shout out to real DJs.
Yes.
Because a lot of y'all are scared to break records.
That's
even
right.
to this day, it's too many clicks and stuff. Even to this day, and me being a former artist,
yes,
y'all need to take some chances, because we wouldn't have beautiful singers like who we sitting in front of right now, Miss Sybil. We wouldn't have those voices, those great songs. We wouldn't have these moments if a DJ didn't break it. Because I hear that a lot. A lot of DJs played a big part of it.
Sorry to interrupt everybody, but I had to tell y'all about BillionBrothers.com. They make high quality handmade leather bags and apparel that's perfect for your everyday needs. So whether you're going out for a night on the town or you commuting to work, Billion Brothers bags, guaranteed they got the bag that fits your lifestyle. Now me personally, I like the backpack one because I gotta keep the laptop on me so I can keep up with y'all. That make it easy for me to pull it out, do what I gotta do, and then get it back inside the backpack and I'm out. Now, that's me. You head over to the site, find which one works for you. Right now, just for spending $250, they're giving you 10% off. So head over to BillionBrothers.com, find the perfect bag for your style. Tell them Ty sent you. Peace. Now enjoy the show.
So, did anybody ever try to switch your style? Because your voice, literally, you can do. You never really did big ballads. You can
I
do
didn't,
ballads.
but I did. But the funny thing is that, let me tell you, let me share this with you. In college, people were shocked that I came out singing these up-tempo records, because in college, all I did when I would sing was ballads. I was that girl, okay? I was the one. As a matter of fact, for coronation, I sang Denise Williams' Black Butterfly. And I promise you, it's like, I've always loved ballads. And on my projects, I've always done slow songs, but there's a song that the South pulled out called Let It Rain. That's a ballad that I did that they love. I cannot do a show in the South without doing Let It Rain. Without doing Let It Rain. So, there you go. It just, I don't know if we get kind of fixated on accepting people. And that's really kind of a problem that we have in this country. And that's why a lot of us travel outside of this country, because they embrace us and they accept what we offer them if they love and respect us as artists. So it may be an up-tempo, but it may be a ballad or a mid-tempo song. And so, sometimes we get chased out of our own homelands, and it's not that we don't want to be here, but for the most part, and that's just being real, being transparent. It's very difficult to create music, and you don't create music for it not to be heard. You create music because you want it to be heard. You want to share it with people who are interested in what you've got to say. The climate here in the U.S., we're very finicky, and we're driven by things that are not really about the artistry, but about as you said, clicks, and about what's current or what's deemed acceptable. And at a certain age, I'm not being funny. I'm not going to try to compete with someone. It's just I'm too old to try. I can only do what I can do. I'm not going to get out and try to compromise the integrity of my person for the sake of selling a record or just being relevant. That's not who I am. That's not how my parents raised me. And so I know that I'm capable of singing. I still do it. I do it quite often. And I do it on my terms now. I do it on my terms because I realized that I don't move in desperation. And I think a lot of people, when they feel as if they're locked into doing one thing, they move in desperation and they accept situations that are potentially dire to them. And so creatively, I pick and choose what I want to get involved with. I'm currently working on an Afro beats project with some producers from the U.S. and from Northern Africa. And so I'm really excited about how I'm able to create nowadays. And because I don't live thinking that I've got to chase the dollar. I mean, I'm just not there. I'm an educated woman, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for having a fallback plan that my parents prepared me. Yeah.
See, and that's one of the big things, like you stated, a lot of them, we chase things out of desperation. I tell people all the time, I didn't enjoy music until I stopped caring if it was going to ever come with a check. Once I started, because I came in like that, but once I started caring about oh, how we gonna make money? Because you start compromising real life things. Should
That's
I get
right.
a job or should I keep chasing it? So I get the people that do it. I totally get it.
Hmm.
I totally get it, but it's just like, yeah, we got to do it back for the culture. We got to do it for the fun of it, and
Yeah.
it's way better. But a lot of people don't get into that position that they can push what the label say to the side and do what they want to do, because then you don't get the backing behind you. You don't
That's
get the
right.
support of the label. You know, I speak with a lot of artists that talk about getting shelved. So it's
Yes.
like, oh, you got shelved just because you didn't do what they wanted to do. Now you're
That's
in this
right.
contract, you can't move, but your
Hmm.
project is shelved, so you have no income coming in.
That's right.
You know, it's artists that had radio hit songs that were working regular 9 to 5s because the label wasn't providing any more money. So
Oh yeah. Oh, and the thing is I don't know why everyone seems to think that once you have a record on the radio that you miraculously become a millionaire. And I came
yep.
up in a time when the only way we made money was by actually working. We were actually I'm talking about and I'm actually going out performing. I worked and honed in on how to make money by traveling the road performing. And when I got tired of doing that, I realized, see, because before I started singing, before I signed my first record deal, I already had a college degree. I already had one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was 23 years old when I came in the game. I got my degree when I was 21. And subsequently have a master's, an advanced degree. And I've got, I mean, literally, work. I'm not a run of the mill artist, because I realized that I had to have a backup plan, because I saw the writing on the wall especially for people of color. Let me say that there's a different, I'm just, to be real, there is an unrealistic expectation for us, for people of color, and others. It's amazing how artists that don't look like me can have long life, you know, long life. And it's not that they sing any better. I'm thankful. And I love I'm so glad Gladys Knight is still out there doing it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad Dion is still doing it.
Patty.
Big
Yeah.
Patty's doing it. I'm glad that they're still doing it. You know why? Because Barbara's gonna still do it. Barbara Streisand gonna still do it. They're gonna make
Mm-hmm.
sure she has a platform. They're gonna make sure Celine Dion has a platform. They're gonna make sure. So I really, really like the idea that I don't have to move in that space that restricts me creatively, because they say so.
Right.
Because they
Right.
say
I'm
so.
I'm glad to. I'm glad to. So I have a question about family.
Yes.
I heard, and you tell me if I'm wrong or right,
Mhm.
is it true that you have a famous cousin?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it true that that cousin happens to be inside of another very, very popular 90s era in Vogue?
Yes. Yes.
Can you tell the,
Maxine.
can you tell the
Max.
people?
Yeah, Maxine Jones is my cousin. We are and very close. We were raised together, actually. But her dad and my grandmother were brother and sister. And so the running joke is that Maxine's family, so her older sisters are the age of my mom and dad, and Maxine and Michael, Maxine and Michael are the age are out. We're in the same generation, and so it's so we grew up with. So my mom grew up with her older sisters and
And
babysat, you know, babysat them, and Maxine and Michael were with me and my brother, Kyle and Rodney. So it's yeah, and we're very close, and we're actually I'm supposed to be submitting a record for her project, and so I'm excited about that. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Let me not because she's my cousin, but I'm gonna tell you, I used to be on the road. And people found out we were cousins, and they would be like, "Oh my God, Sybil, our favorite." They would tell me who their favorite was, and it was because she was so incredibly sweet. That's who she is. She really is a sweet person. Um, and so I would be friends with her if we weren't blood.
even if that's what
Yeah.
that's what's up. When I heard that, I had a cousin tell me. They said,
Hmm.
they cousins. No, they're not. I had to look it up, and then it's only a little bit of information on it. But shout
Yeah.
out to Maxine Jones. Shout out to In Vogue for the
Yeah.
greatness that they've done. You feel me? I would love to get them on the show. So of course I'm gonna holler at you about that.
Yes.
But so look, right? Your music over the years have changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's changed a whole lot, like it's supposed to do. It evolves, it comes back.
Hmm.
Now we're getting back into, well, we're getting a lot of more crossover artists now. which you did in the 80s. Now, you know, and it's crossing over both ways. Crossover just used to mean one way, but now it's like two-way crossover.
Exactly.
So they coming over here too, but
yeah, they want to visit our street, our side of town.
they trying to what is it called when you what's the name? What is it called when oh man, when they put the nice stores and stuff inside the hood and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about
gentrification. They trying to
gentrification.
They trying to
that's
gentrify
right.
our
Yes.
outside. But
like, okay. Mm-hmm.
What are you listening to today? Do you listen to anything?
Oh gosh, yeah. The funny, yes, I love music, but the funny thing is, I still go after and I still love. For example, Kim and Babyface are here tonight, but I couldn't go because I was under the weather. I don't want to, so I had to get. Someone got some really good, really good seats. But I'm going to I like Will Downing and Layla. I like classic R&B stuff and cross those artists who can do it all. So I'm going to be seeing Will Downing and Layla Hathaway. But in terms of new, I love her. I love her, H-E-R her. I've loved Bruno Mars, but I really like Silk Sonic a lot. I like the gospel, the contemporary gospel stuff. I think is really kind of really good. The sounds, I'm loving the voices that are coming out of that, coming out now. Snow Allegra, SZA. There are a lot of artists that I really love listening to because I feel as if they're just being authentic. I mean, if nothing, they're just like, I'm going to try this, and if it hits, fine. Mm-hmm. And so, those who are, I can tell the novelties, the ones, they made it through TikTok and all that stuff. And I see, that doesn't validate to me an artist that, it doesn't, that doesn't. But I love people who take a chance and who are willing to stretch. And I feel, like I said, she's special, but she's extremely special. Who else? But in Silk Sonic, because I just like the fact that they're doing kind of R&B, bringing that kind of old school R&B vibe back. But I still like the old school, tried and true. I like Kindred and the Family Soul. I'm one of those who still love. I can go see Eric Roberson and be quite happy, So that's me. That's who I am. But I can also go and listen to the symphony because I love strings. Okay. I love orchestrated music, and so I'm nowadays. It's like I kind of. It has to, if it hits my ear, I don't care who's doing it. It can be a country record. If it happens to be a country record, then that's fine. But I'm open. But I like a lot of the newer, the new artists who are being authentically themselves. Who they are is who they are, and they don't apologize for liking a little rock and roll or even liking a little country and loving soul. And so to me, I feel as if. Everyone says, do you like Lizzo? And I said, I like her, I guess. I guess, but it's that's not who I'd run to go see. And I don't know that I'd go run to see. Ledisi, amazing. Okay. Ledisi, Layla James, amazing. Oh. So when I tell you that woman is just, I could go see her over and over and over again. It's so there are a lot of people that I just, I'm in awe of. And so Ledisi, phenomenal, because she reminds me of Rachelle Farrell, but nobody can touch Rachelle Farrell. But anyway, but they remind me. Yeah. So there are a lot of really powerful artists that are out now who probably are just languishing. They're doing what they do. Maybe not as visible as some of these, like I said, these youngsters, because a lot of it, it's a very
it's internet.
It's just different. Yeah, different.
Nah, that's wonderful that you still got your ears to the streets, though.
Oh, I do.
Is one of my favorite. And speaking, I'm mad that you missed the concert with Babyface and Kim, because my father and my stepmom just now went to that a couple weeks ago, right? And they were so pumped because I said, I know Babyface. Oh, that show. Because I'm a fan.
Yes.
I'm a fan. I love Babyface. I love Kevon Edmonds a little bit more, voice-wise.
Yes, his voice is, yes.
Yeah, they don't give Kevon his props.
They don't give Kevon that joker. Oh,
but
yes.
That guy can sing, and I saw him live, but I was like, I know Babyface killed it. He was like, yes, but Kim stole the show. I didn't know Kim was the soul.
Yeah. He is unreal, because I've seen him twice before. I was really interested because I really wanted to see Babyface. I hadn't seen Babyface perform in years, and even then it was a part of a radio show years and years and years ago. And then Kevin Ross was the opening act here. So and I was like, okay, so I was really looking for. Yeah, I was like, man,
you're gonna get it another time. You're gonna get to go to it another time.
I am.
I just now got to see Jodeci and New Edition. I was so, shout out to brother Dalvin, you feel me, big homie. He brought me through, and getting to see that, it was just beautiful, man. I love the old shows. I told you I'm not gonna hold you long. I just want to know, where can we find, like, what can we expect from Miss Sybil? And I gotta call you Miss because it's either gonna be that, and it's not age wise. It's just you gotta. Your crown. That's the Miss is the crown. So it's either gonna be that or Queen.
that is fine. Actually, the funny thing is that I never really understood the significance of social media as I do now, and so we're actually building the platforms that we need to get my information as to what I'm doing out. I've got my logo. My logo is Sybil Sings because that's what I do everything. And so I've got it's Sybil Sings because I've been that forever. And so you just look for me and look for Sybil Sings. And I'm going to be starting to post and share what I'm doing because I'm also a writer. So I'm into writing books and sharing that aspect of myself. So there are a lot of things that I'm really going to be introducing to the universe and through social media. So look, Sybil Sings. That's how I am on Instagram. It's funny. I thought, okay, you just put it out there and they come. I'm really learning this stuff. Okay, let me just be very honest. My nieces and nephews are like, Auntie, you need to do da 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 da. So I'm paying attention now. Okay, I'm paying attention. And so look for me on social media platforms, and all of it's under Sybil Sings.
Got you. Yeah. Make sure y'all go follow Sybil Sings on Instagram and all other social medias.
Yes.
Ms. Sybil, I also want to let you know, my wife actually does, my fiance actually does writing. So we're going to get together anyway because we have a publishing company. We New York Times best-selling author. So listen, we're going to talk, Ms. Sybil. We're going to talk. But
definitely.
Before we close this out, can you please tell me your connection to Baltimore? I want to know what that is. What's the feel of the 80s and Baltimore and the 90s? Give us that connection, because this is for my listeners that know I love my city. So what's that connection?
Well, let me say this. As a Jersey girl, it was oftentimes we'd come down for the harbor. We'd come down in the harbor. We would come, and it was just, and we'd go to we would go to Afram. They used to have the Afro-American, they used to have the African American Festival. And let me tell you, I absolutely fell in love with Baltimore. I will tell you this, my grandfather lived his last years in Baltimore. And so, and then Grandma Frankie, she was not my grandmother, she was my cousin's grandmother on my Uncle Jack, on my uncle's side, his mom, but she was Grandma Frankie. So we would spend many summers coming to spend time with Grandma Frankie in Baltimore. So needless to say, I have a lot of really fond memories. And then going over to the market, I got the best chicken livers I ever.
Hold up, you talking about Lexington Market?
Lexington Market.
They had Sybil down.
Let me tell you, I was like, oh my God. So I have fun, and the best, I've had fond memories of Lexington Market, Afram, the energy, the people, and the harbor. I will always, and then my family, then having ties and family, spending some really good times there with family.
I listen. We thank you. I had to close on that for my audience that's from the hometown. You feel me? Sybil, we thank you.
Thank you.
We honor you. We salute you. You are wonderful. You're beautiful. Everything that you've given us.
Thank you.
It means a lot to us. And again, you will forever, even if you choose today to never release anything else, you will forever hold that place inside my head and a lot of other people's heads. That song with your song, your history. I thank you for accepting this interview.
Thank you
for coming on.
My pleasure.
I wish you nothing but success, okay?
Thank you. Much love and peace and blessings to you and your family.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, y'all, make sure y'all follow, subscribe, like on all of your platforms. YouTube, our page is Cards Face Up TV. Spotify, Google, Apple, all of those listening, streaming formats. You feel me? Me and Miss Sybil trying to get it together. We trying to get on our stuff. I'm trying to get on mine too, because y'all know I'm a Facebook type of person.
Yeah.
Instagram make me feel a little bit crazy because y'all don't talk back. Y'all just like to see me flirt things. I'm a person that likes to talk, so I need Facebook where y'all can conversate with me back. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get better, man. Continue to follow us. Have a blessed, safe week. Love y'all, everybody. Sybil, thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
Peace.
Peace.